Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for checking out the video. This is Coach SsBraves here, coach of the Nashville Needle Kings, and I'm joined once again by Coach Aboot of the Faldor Flapples.
What's up, guys? Glad to be here again for the power rankings this week.
Yep, and as he said, we are back for the power rankings following week 1 of the regular season. Just want to say, hopefully the audio of this video sounds all right. Last week when we did it, we actually did it in person. This is the first time we're trying to do it over the internet, so hopefully it sounds all right. But yeah, so let's just jump right into it. First off, at number 16, we have the Celadon City Porygons. They did fall this week in a matchup between our bottom two from last week, the Porygons and the team we'll talk about later on. They fell 0-3, so they do have that 0-1 record with a -3 differential. They came in and kind of never got momentum in the match, kind of down from the start. Leafeon did pick up a kill or two for them, so that is their MVP. So this team's sitting at the bottom looking to rebound in week 2. So moving on, we're going to go jump to the team they played. And again, I mentioned it was a battle between our bottom two from the first week. And for this one, the Immunity Idols came ahead in that match. They had a plan all match to set up Vikavolt, get up webs, and then just have Vikavolt kind of sweep. And I don't think that plan really came into full effect. They kind of actually picked up a couple kills with the surprising Bronzong. But Vikavolt was still named their MVP. Again, they picked up that 3-0 win and have a 1-0 record. This team could climb very quickly in the coming weeks if they can beat some of their opponents coming up with a higher ranking right now in the power rankings. So it's a team to watch out for in the coming weeks. So moving on from there, Coach Aboot's going to talk about number 14 here.
We have the Raleigh Goons holding strong at the 14th spot. Their MVP this week was G-Max Duraludon. The match started out a little slow. He decided to lead with a Shuckle and got a lot of use out of the hazards there. But he had a little trouble mid-game dealing with an Aurora Veil from his opponent. And G-Max Duraludon came in as the MVP because he picked up a surprising KO on Blissey. I didn't really think anything could kill that thing. And so that's his MVP for the week.
All right, moving on to number 13.
In the 13th spot, we've got the Rillaboom. They're down one spot from the 12th spot this week. And they took a loss in a close match. It was a tie. He decided to lead with the Drapion and got some Toxic Spikes up, which he got a lot of use out of. But the match started to sway against him, and his MVP for the week, G-Max Lapras, picked up 2 KOs close to the end of the game, but it wasn't enough. He unfortunately lost this week.
All right, so again, that's the Rillaboom sitting at 13. Moving on to number 12. We have the New York Knicks and Coach Bishme. Unfortunately, he did pick up the 4-0 loss this week, playing a very good opponent in Blattle. And he got that G-Max Caporaja, and that was his MVP. And he did fall one spot, if I didn't mention, from the 11 to the 12. Caporaja did some work for him, but ultimately he just really underestimated, it seemed like, that Lycanroc, who is the current kill leader in the league, picking up 4 kills in this match. So he looked like he just underprepared for that Lycanroc, and that really cost him big in this one. Look for Coach Bishme to bounce back in week 2. All right, moving on to number 11. We have Coach Aboot here and the Faldor Flapples. He did lose another one of those ties, going down to timer. 4-4, he fell one spot from 10 to 11. I know there was some anger at the end with that timer. I know timer irritates everyone in these matches. But with the two teams that we saw in that match, I don't see any other way that match ends other than timer. There was a lot of bulk in that match. And his MVP ended up being Piloswine. I think it picked up 1 of his 2 kills, if I remember correctly. So, unfortunately, 4-4 tie ends up in loss form. He is sitting at 0-1 with that 0 differential. And actually plays me next week, so he's going to be sitting at 0-2 a week from now. All right, moving on to number 10.
Should be something to look out for.
Moving on to number 10.
In the 10th spot, we have the Golar Greninjas falling 4 spots. We ranked them pretty highly early on. In this match, Coach Chibi couldn't really get anything going. He had a lot of trouble with all the electric types he brought against Mudsdale from the Gengars. And he couldn't get around the Mudsdale, and then he had a lot of trouble dealing with Aromatisse, so he was pretty much walled the whole game. His MVP this week went to Alolan Raichu, who was able to get his 1 KO in this a little bit of a blowout.
Yep, the biggest win of the week, I believe. So, yep, unfortunate match there for Shibby. Moving on to number 9.
On the ninth, we have Shibby's opponent, the Lavender Town Gengars, with Coach Super Sartans. He did have a really big play early on. I wanted to mention he predicted a Gyarados switch in and hit it with a Rock Slide for Mudseal, and that kind of helped him wall the rest of the game because I think he needed the HP on Gyarados, to get through the rest of his team. Aromatisse stood out for Coach Super Sartans, walling a lot of Chibi's Mons, and I gave his MVP to the Mudseal, able to shut down all those electric types.
All right, and like he said, this was the biggest blowout of the week. So for that, the Gengars did have our biggest jump of the week, jumping 4 spots and making it into that top 10. So congrats to the Gengars. Moving on to number 8, we have the Fargo Phalanx. They moved up 1 spot to that number 8 spot, winning that 4-4 tie against Coach Aboot. And again, just the amount of bulk in that match, there was no other way that could have gone other than timer. So I gave it the MVP of that team to one of his bulky mons that was able to wall the Flapples for a large portion of that match, and that would be Milotic. So yeah, that's why he's sitting at number 8 with a 1-0 record, also with that 0 differential. So moving on to number 7.
And the 7th spot, we have Coach EJ with the St. Louis Swablues. He took a 2-4 loss this match, or this week, and actually went up 1 spot. Not sure how that happened. I gave his MVP to Crocodile because Crocodile started off the game really strong for Coach EJ. He picked up an early KO on a Mienshao and had a massive protect play to take a lot of damage off of the Cinderace. He ended up G-maxing his Venusaur and couldn't get a lot done. It was a little walled. And so he had a lot of trouble dealing with the G-Max Snorlax after that. And Coach Manny, his opponent, ended up coming out on top of that one.
Yep, as he said, he, I believe, is our only losing coach to actually move up a spot. One of the teams in front of him fell quite a few spots, so he kind of just got lucky to move up that 1 spot. But he did play a tough coach in the week 1. I believe one of our top 5 coaches. So a close loss didn't hurt him too bad, and he actually sees that 1 spot climb. So that's why he's sitting at number 7. Moving on to number 6.
And we have the 6th spot. We have my co-host, Coach Adam with the Nashville Nido Kings. He took a pretty big win this week, 4-0, going up 1 spot, looking to climb the ranks. His MVP this week was G-Max Rillaboom. It ended up getting 3 KOs towards the end of the match and securing the victory for him. And I want to put a special shout out to Togekiss because it did put a lot of work in mid-game behind an Aurora Veil from Vanilla.
Yeah, so I'm glad to be in that 6th spot. Moving on to number 5.
In the 5th spot, we have Coach Squid with the Lisbon Arcanines. He had no change. He's keeping that 5th spot because I think all the spots above him got a win as well. He eked out a close one with a 2-2 victory. His MVP was Urshifu, Single Strike, who was able to get 2 KOs. His G-Max Hatterene also picked up 2 KOs early on to break through the defenses of the Rillabooms. And I also liked his pick of Aromatherapy on the Indeedee because he didn't have removal, and that allowed him to clear the Toxic from the Toxic Spikes and also cure the burn on his Urshifu, which could have changed the match drastically if that hadn't happened.
All right, so again, that's the first of our top 5 teams. Goes to the Arcanine. Moving on to number 4.
In the 4th spot, we got Coach Manny with the Stark Mountain Giratinas. He picked up a 4-2 win this week, and he's maintaining that 4th spot, holding strong. I gave his MVP to Dragalge, a pretty surprising MVP pick this week. And Dragalge was able to pick up 3 KOs with a mix of Draco and Surf, really pulling the match in Coach Manny's favor.
All right, moving on to our top 3. First off, our number 3, it was Coach Darkspark. And the Dragonites, who was a very impressive team last year, it was the runner-up and had that rematch in week 1. So he went up against the number 1 team and lost. So I didn't want to hurt him too bad for that. Playing number 1 team and losing shouldn't hurt you too much. But then he did unfortunately have to drop the league for personal reasons. So we do have a new coach, Coach Lucas, stepping in here. So could have moved him kind of towards the bottom as a new coach, but I didn't feel like everyone else deserved to move up one spot just because a coach dropped. So I decided just to kind of leave his team here, even though it's a completely new roster, new coach, and everything. So if depending on how he does, his spot could fall rapidly because he's kind of just inheriting it. But yeah, that's why he's still sitting here. I know this one might be a little weird, but like I said, didn't want to affect the rankings too much just because we had a coach drop. So he is sitting in this 3 spot, temporarily at least. So let's see what the new coach brings in week 2. All right, moving on to number 2, we do have the Helgon Hydreigons, and they remain at number 2, which I believe is where they sat most of the season last season as well. And that they picked up a 4-0 win. Again, they played the New York Knicks, I believe, to pick up that 4-0 win, and put in a ton of work with Lycanroc. I mentioned it earlier. Lycanroc is our kill leader as of 1 week into the season, picking up 4 kills in that first week. I'm gonna be honest, Lycanroc's never really mon I've used, so I probably would have also underestimated it. But I know when I go up against Hydreigons, I will not do that any longer. So yeah, that's why Blattle here in the Helgon Hydreigon sits at number 2. And number 1 shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. We still have the Cerulean City Mewtwo and Coach Sen, the reigning champ, and starts the season 1-0 with a 6-2 win. So again, no one should be surprised by the number 1 team here. And I feel like Coach Sen would be mad at us if we didn't mention his Thwackey. Thwackey came in, I think, picked up 3 kills. I know he was very happy when he got this mon in the draft, was very surprised that no one else took it. So yeah, Thwackey is actually his week 1 MVP with those 3 kills. So yeah, those are our power rankings following week 1. Something else we're going to add into these now is we're also going to announce the coach of the week and the MVP for the week at the end of these videos. So for week 1, we had coach of the week was Coach Super Sartans. Sorry if I'm saying that name wrong. I hopefully said it correctly. With that Lavender Town Gengars, he picked up that 5-0 win in that biggest blowout of the week. So felt he was pretty deserving of that coach of the week spot. Anything else you want to say about his match? I know you looked into it quite a bit.
No, he just brought it to a higher seed and really showed that he's ready to move up the rankings season. So we'll have to look out for that.
Yep. So he made the biggest climb in our power rankings and wins coach of the week. And like I said, we gave MVP to that kill leader Lycanroc for Coach Blattle and the number 2 Helgon Hydreigons. Because again, he kind of carried that match for him. So yeah, he wins MVP of the week. So I believe that's all we got for you. Anything you want to add, Coach Aboot?
No, I think that's about it. I'm looking forward to the power rankings next week and seeing how all our coaches perform in week 2.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, hopefully the audio sounds all right for this one. If not, we might try to start doing it in person again next week. But yeah, I was kind of quarantined all week and maybe didn't want to meet in person this week. So hopefully it sounds all right. Hopefully you guys tune in next week. See you guys.